everybody. So Tom, that means you're gonna have to unmute yourself,
All
okay?
right. Or I can do a mime show.
Right. All right. So everybody else, please stay muted till the music is done.
I'm going to take off my earphones. And hi, everybody. Well, this is interesting. I've never done this actually. Just focus the whole concert on one album. And so let's start with this one, which is a song about what's not happening these days. How many nights have found me here like this night? A turn of the wheel, a song on the radio. Raindrops fall and shatter in the headlights. How many nights? I don't want to know. Hearts on the road, so far from home. Somebody somewhere waits for you, but you're rolling hard tonight down some endless line of white, with the headlights and the red lights and the blues. Hearts on the road. Someday I will make a map of my life, of where I've been and all that I've been through. And I will place you right here in the heartland, and every line will lead away, then lead back to you. My heart's on the road, so far from home. With every sweet sad song I think of you. All alone in bed tonight, are you wondering if I'm alright? With the headlights and the red lights and the blues. Hearts on the road. Hello again, I'm leaving. Goodbye, I'm coming home. But I need to know that you are there when I'm out here on my own. And I ain't no fallen angel, no hero in a hurricane, just a lonesome traveler late at night, driving through the rain. My heart's on the road, so far from home. With every sweet sad song I think of you. All alone in bed tonight, are you wondering if I'm alright? With the headlights and the red lights and the blues. Hearts on the road. Hello again, I'm leaving. Goodbye, I'm coming home. Hello again, I'm leaving. Goodbye, I'm coming home. Hearts on the road. Hearts on the road. It's been a bit of a time since that's happened. So I wrote that actually when I was doing Pump Boys and Dinettes in Detroit. There was a wonderful piano player there, named George Clinton, not of the Funkadelics, but George Clinton, and we did some outside of the show. We did some benefit concerts and stuff, and he had this tune and gave it to me to put a lyric to, and I started working at it. Never didn't quite get it until maybe 10 years later, and that's where that song came from. And I sent it to George, who's now living in Los Angeles and doing TV, movies, music, and making a great living doing that kind of thing. And I sent him the track, and he was thrilled with it. It was nice to connect. This next song is a song that John Foster and I wrote. I gave this album at one point to a friend of mine, Mark Rust, up in Saratoga. We were both playing there, and about a week later he wrote back a bunch of things about the songs on this album, and he said must be a real good story about this one, and it's actually it was sort of a chord progression. It started with the music, and then John Foster and I invented the story and the song. But I had the idea for a song called Big Love. Big love, big risk, big hurt to be alone like this, broken hearted in the rain. I'm not the first, won't be the last to love in vain. Now I'm looking back in 2020 hindsight at all the big mistakes I made. Big love, bad breaks, hard luck, heartaches. That's how the game is played. Big love, that's how the game is played. Big plans fall short, and all your dreams end up in court. Confidence goes down the drain. You place your bets, what you get's a world of pain. Now I'm waiting on the roof to be rescued after the storm's gone through. Big love you choose, but if you lose, the damage big love can do. But oh, now that we are through, I see how high we flew. What am I to do without you? Big loss, big win. I'm a big boy now, so deal me in, 'cause I know how love can feel. And when it's big and when it's real, it's a real big deal. So I'm knocking on your door again to ask you, what could we have been thinking of? Big pain, big deal, big hurt can heal. Don't throw our love away. Big love, remember our big, big love. I'm sorry I don't have John Coburn here to play a nice jazzy thing, but I'll just do what I can on the guitar. Now I'm waiting on the roof to be rescued. I think that's what Mark Rust loved. Waiting on the roof to be rescued after the storm's gone through. Big pain, big deal, big hurt can heal. Remember our big, big love. Why? I haven't done that in a long time. And this one I usually do on the 6-string. This next song started as a tune In fact, almost all of these started as a tune first, and then lyrics, which is very unlike the rest of my canon. Mostly it's lyrics first. But this one, I had this tune. So I had that tune and had one little phrase, the turning of the tide. And and John Forster and I were working on stuff then, so I gave it to him, and we both came up with this. We walk along the shore at the turning of the tide. We talk of love and war, of your hunger and my pride, and I ask you if we've passed the peak and now begun the slide. The sand moves under us at the turning of the tide. Some hearts are hard to see, like a rising daylight moon. They speak but don't reveal, like yours this afternoon. For a moment I am with you, then you duck down deep inside, and I am stranded here at the turning of the tide. What goes out and comes in doesn't end or begin. It ebbs and flows, and there it goes again. We watch the silence build, and it brings me to my knees. The seagulls laugh at us as they balance on the breeze, and you say it's not a tragedy, just a fast and bumpy ride. And we are balanced here at the turning of the tide. We go out and come in, we don't end or begin. We ebb and flow, and here we go again. We never get it right, but we might not be that wrong. Not knowing where to go, maybe right where we belong. At the edge of this endless ocean, walking almost side by side. We talk of love and war at the turning of the tide. We talk of love and war at the turning of the tide. On the big bad 12, the turning of the tide. So this song is 16 years old. I know because it was the birth of my first grandchild, Miles Craven. Miles Grathme Craven. Jonathan's, my stepson's son, who was 16 this year, hard to believe. And he's going to be tall, maybe as tall as I am and maybe a little heavier. His grandma, Edith, and had two brothers who were 6'4" and 6'5" and about 240 or 250 each, these big guys. So another tall one in our crew, which is great. So I now have 6 grandchildren, and each one has their own song, but this is the very first one. And once I did one, I had every time another one came, it was Papa Tom had to write another song. So here's the one first, Mr. Miles. And I wrote a really kind of a lyric, a little poem, and then put a tune to it. And actually, maybe John Colbert helped me with the tune, I think. The Turning of the Tide. No, let me see what the Miles. Well, maybe it was just me, I guess. But it's on the recording. Larry Campbell and Eric Weisberg started it off with a wonderful mandolin thing and this great kind of Cajun tempo, And Eric was playing a banjo and mandolin. It started sort of something like this. In the middle of the night, the baby came, strong and clean, without a name. Now life seems like a brand new game. Let the music start. A baby boy was born today, March 15th in far LA. I'm in New York, but it's okay. He's real close to my heart. The river runs as wide and deep as the promises we keep. Miles to go before we sleep. Miles and miles and miles. The river runs as wide and deep as the promises we keep. Miles to go before we sleep. Miles and miles and miles. So I stole a little bit of this from Robert Frost. Miles to go before you sleep. Well, the babe brings joy to every face, warmth to every jaded place. We're all in a state of grace. The heavens are all smiles. Here's to Rachel, here's to John, here's to the road embarked upon. God bless the coming of the dawn and the birth of mighty Miles. The river runs as wide and deep as the promises we keep. Miles to go before we sleep. Miles and miles and miles. River runs as wide and deep as the promises we keep. Miles to go before we sleep. Miles and miles and miles. Actually, John Colbert did write the melody for this. I remember making the whole chorus. River runs as wide and deep as the promises we keep. Miles to go before we sleep. Miles and miles and miles. River runs as wide and deep as the promises we keep. Miles to go before we sleep. Miles and miles and miles. Miles and miles and miles. Miles and miles and miles to go. Mr. Miles, we're going to see him in June. They're coming home to the East Coast. They live in Los Angeles. And they'll be coming home to the East Coast to see us and spend the summer here, away from the smokes. And this is a song that I wrote about my mom. My mother is an artist, been one all her life. While she was busy being daughter, sister, lover, worker, wife. But her quiet eyes kept watch all through every hard work day, till she found the time to shape the world her way. Life's not what it should be, you learn that early on, when you're the eldest daughter of a marriage that goes wrong. But through 90 years, through all the tears for loved ones who have died, she's held on to the artist there inside. And when we'd wound ourselves as children sometimes do, she's the one who we would run home to. And I still, to my surprise, seek approval in her eyes, in my mother's quiet eyes. A family is a lonely ship that we are thrust into. She had 6 boys, a joyful noise, but what a rowdy crew. But sewing was a refuge, a quiet in the storm, a secret place that somehow kept her warm. She'd take a piece of fabric, she'd pin it on the wall. Colors, shapes, and patterns, she would use them all. A small idea to build upon, to carry through each day, till home at night to make her art her way. And though we've moved away as children someday do, she's the one who we all come home to. And I still, to my surprise, seek the light there in her eyes, in my mother's quiet eyes. My mother was an artist, and I'm an artist's son. And when things get a little rough, I think what she has done. I try to keep a watch all through another hard work day, till I find the time to shape the world my way. And though I've moved away as children someday do, she's the one who we all come home to. And I still, to my surprise, seek the light there in her eyes, in my mother's quiet eyes, in my mother's quiet eyes. And that is a John Cobert tune. I had this poem that I'd written, and I sent it to my brother Steve. He says, "Well, I don't really hear anything here." And then I sent it to John Cobert one day, and he sent me back this beautiful melody. Da-da-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-doo-doo. Thank you, Johnny. It's so good. Well, let's see. And here's a song that I learned here in my house from one of my heroes. His name was Bob Gibson. He's gone now. And he wrote this tune with another of my heroes, Tom Paxton. And there's a little club in our hometown called the Turning Point. And and I went to see Bob Gibson at the end of his career. He was one of the really important guys in the folk revival. The first million-selling recording by a folk artist was Gibson and Camp, Bob Gibson and Hamilton Camp, doing a live recording. I think somebody's going to know where it was. Maybe Dave Gathman might know. It's the Purple Onion, or maybe one of the places in Chicago. But Bob Gibson was I think he was a Chicago guy, right? Was that right, Dave? Not if you're listening to me. But he was he did a lot of great stuff, but then he got involved in drugs and stuff. Looks much like the rock and rollers later and the jazz guys earlier, but he ended up doing a trio for a while with Tom Paxton and Hills, I think, and wonderful guy. But he played at the Turning Point. Afterwards, I go up and talked to him, and he played this one song that I thought was just amazing. And he said, you know, I'm looking for a place to stay tonight. I said, well, come on, stay with us. But I tell you what, here's the deal. You can sound like Biden. Here's the deal. You can stay with us if you teach me the chords to "And Loving You." He says, okay. So at breakfast the next morning, he wrote them out, showed me these chords. It goes like this. That cold Chicago wind came howling down the street. The rain has turned to sleet. If I decide to go, it will commence to snow. It's overdue. 'Twas on a night like this you blew in through my door. I asked for kindness and you gave me that and more. You taught me how to do the things that lovers do, like coming through and loving you. I got my banjo tuned. Now I lost the band, I must have missed a turn. I'll never learn, it seems. My music is my dreams, it's what I do. They close the hall and put away the microphones. I sit alone and idly scratch along the strings. Then my banjo sings, as banjos often do, of coming through and loving you. We heard John Lennon play. He sang Norwegian Wood. We thought he'd hung the moon. We sat on your floor. You didn't work till 4 that afternoon. You took a stranger to an unfamiliar shore. He asked for kindness and you gave him that and more. You taught him how to do the things that lovers do, like coming through and loving you. 'Twas on a night like this you blew in through my door. I asked for kindness and you gave me that and more. You taught me how to do the things that lovers do, like coming through and loving you. Like coming through and loving you. Like coming through and loving you. Nice tune. Let's see. It's fun to do these songs in this order. I could see why I ordered the album that way. But it's if I was doing live, I'd go back and forth, up tempo, down tempo, and different things. But this is kind of like a tone poem here. And I guess that's why I put this one here. Another one that John Cobert helped me with a tune. I've forgotten where we were. Is this the beginning or the end? Do we attack? Do we defend? Do we kick off? Do we receive? Do we know who to believe? I've forgotten where we were. Do you remember where we were? I've forgotten who we are. Are we the good guys or the bad? Are we the happy or the sad? Do we stand up? Do we sit still? In the gathering storm I feel a chill, 'cause I've forgotten who we are. Do you remember who we are? Such a dangerous innocence, giving up on common sense, trusting everything they say, is living life the hard way. I've forgotten what we know. How much money can a rich man use? How much more can a poor man lose? When does the tide begin to turn? When does the contract start to burn? I've forgotten what we know. Do you remember what we know? Every time I have to play a solo here, I think of the two people playing on that recording. One was Guy Davis, the great blues singer who got him in to play some harmonica on it. It was great. And also John Cobert, of course, who was such a monster. Such a dangerous innocence, giving up on common sense, trusting everything we're told, while our world is bought and sold. But I remember what we do. We ask a question, yes, and then we ask a question once again, and the questions never end. When you are a citizen, learn the truth and hold them to the promises they made to you. Learn the truth and hold them to the promise made, the promise made, the promise made to me and you. promise made to me and you. So my dad was a jazz drummer. There's a painting of him right up here when he was a kid, from done by his father, the great portrait painter James Ormsby Chapin. And I played that clarinet, and I'm sitting on that chair right now. Here's that same chair. Look at that chair here. It's right here. This guy here. And needs a glue job, actually. It's coming out right here. And he was a great storyteller, my dad, James Forbes Chapin, and played the big band era. And he had this wonderful story about how he started, and how there was kind of a circular story of him being influenced so much by one of his heroes, and then his hero comes back in his life when he became a teacher and asked for his help. And I told this story a number of my friends, and one of them was Cy Khan, and he said, "That's a great story. Let's write it." So we wrote this. Let me get the words so I don't mess up Dad's story. Excuse me. He was only 10 years old when he went off to war. And they gave him a calfskin marching drum. He beat it till his arms grew sore at Vicksburg and the wilderness. The older kids showed him the way, how to hold the sticks loose in his hands so he could play 12 hours a day. He was listening to a distant drummer, learning from the sounds of history. You could hear the rhythm rolling down from drummer to drummer, from Dad to me. Dad was 17 years old the year he went away. And he skipped school for 52nd Street, where he went to hear the big bands play. The joint was jumping, his heart was thumping. He'd found what he had to do. So he asked Gene Krupa late one night, "Would you teach me how to play like you?" Gene said, "Kid, I don't do that. Here's who you should see. Sanford Moeller, that's his name. He teaches drums. Hey, he taught me." Now Moeller had learned from old men who'd been drummer boys back in the Civil War. And he taught my dad how to hold the sticks so he could play 12 hours or more. He was listening to a distant drummer, learning from the sounds of history. You could hear the rhythm rolling down from drummer to drummer, from Dad to me. Dad was 49 years old, teaching drums and me, when Gene Krupa called him up one night and asked if he could come to see him. The stroke had taken Gene's strength away. He couldn't find the beat, I guess, and my dad taught him how to play again, like they were marching through the wilderness. He was listening to a distant distant drummer, learning from the sounds of history. You could hear the rhythm rolling down from drummer to drummer, from Dad to me. I was only 12 years old when Dad bought me my first guitar. At Manny's Music on 48th, where they treated me like the son of a star. We had never learned to play the drums, though he taught us more than just a song. How to hold the music loose in our hearts so we could play a whole life long. He was listening to a distant drummer, learning from the sounds of history. You could hear the rhythm rolling down from drummer to drummer, from drummer to drummer, from drummer to drummer, from Dad to me. From Dad to me. Papa Jim Chapin. Now here's a song I very seldom do because it breaks me up. It was I wrote it for when my oldest brother James died. He was 60 years old, died of a heart attack, and it's I miss him every day. And it was after Harry died, so both my older brothers died, and I just wrote this song with Cy Khan again. Cy Khan, we were talking about it, and he came up with this nice, wonderful chorus. A piece of quilt is torn away to be repaired, but not replaced. And yet it still extends its warmth around this family. My older brother died too young, a shooting star across the skies. Still every song he wrote and sung lives on in you and me. Lamentation for those who now are gone. Celebration in us they carry on. And now we gather once again to mourn another brother gone. And we are moved by grief and pain to come back to this place. Yet even here we laugh and sing, tell his stories, hear his voice. For death still leaves us everything except for his embrace. Lamentation for those who now are gone. Celebration in us they carry on. And I, who was the third in line, my universe is different now. Still what was theirs is not now mine, it stays with them alone. But they are with me every day, and I'll remember what he said. We know we cannot fill his shoes, but we can fill our own. Lamentation for those who now are gone. Celebration in us they carry on. In us they carry on. James Burke Chapin and Harry Forbes Chapin. Harry Foster Chapin. Boy, oh boy. So I've forgotten how many family things are here. And here's another song that John Cobert wrote the beautiful melody for. This is a lyric that I wrote at the end of a year, a hard year. And I didn't know what to do with it. And I sent it to John, and he wrote this wonderful melody. We sprang from a weed in the Garden of Eden, all scattered by wind and foam. So hungry for shelter, we seek out our true love to pick up the pieces and welcome us home. Through many a storm, though I am no sailor, I found myself caught at the wheel. So, but trusting to fortune and the help of some true friends, we somehow survived the ordeal. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, at the end of the line, I'm glad you're here. Blessed is the pilgrim who's able to say, once I loved you, once you loved me, I still love you at the end of the day. So glad to be here, so glad that you're near, glad this year's come to an end. We faced our worst fears, we shed some real tears as the world chased us round once again. So reach out a hand to the ones who you love most, and mourn for all those gone away. We'll count up our losses, we'll bind up our wounds, and tomorrow we'll face the new day. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, at the end of the line, I'm glad you're here. Blessed is the pilgrim who's able to say, once I loved you, once you loved me, I still love you at the end of the day. So reach out a hand to the ones who you love most, and mourn for all those gone away. We'll count up our losses, we'll bind up our wounds, and tomorrow will be a new day. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, at the end of the line, I'm glad you're here. Blessed is the pilgrim who's able to say, once I loved you, once you loved me, I still love you at the end of the day. Once you loved me, once I loved you, I still love you at the end of the day. Well, let's see. So it was this song was written the same week as 9/11 in Winfield, Kansas. We were supposed to play that weekend. 9/11 was on a Tuesday, and of course all the airports were closed across the country, and all the airlines stopped. And then on Friday there was a flight to Wichita. And I called up Michael and said, let's grab that flight to Wichita and go play. And we talked it through, and he, as everybody was a little nervous about flying, I said, hey, this is going to be the safest flight in the world, at this time. And I talked to John McCutcheon, who was already he lived down in Virginia then, and he and Tom Slothauer, his roadie and great friend, had driven from Virginia to Winfield, Kansas to be there. So we got there on a Friday night. Saturday morning we had breakfast with John. He said, well, there's so many of the people, a lot of the artists couldn't make it, and there's 20,000 people here. I'm really glad you're going to be here. So, and he had started a song with, he'd seen, as we all had on television, all those little little places where people did what do you call them? Like not a celebration, they have put things, remembrances, and one of them said, "Follow the light," and he said, So he had started a song, and John and Michael and I, all day long, every time in between sets, and we did a lot of sets those days because a lot of people weren't there. We'd get together and for lunch and stuff, and we finished the song and sang it that night, and it was an amazing thing to be there. 20,000 people who all felt like they were New Yorkers that night. First and last time that's ever happened in Kansas. Let me turn this on. Is that right? Let me see. There we go. So here's the song. That's better. Let me give it a little bottom here. 7 and 8, my sister and I, lost in the woods as lightning filled the sky. We ran through the rain, and there up ahead was a light on the porch. Come home like Mama said, follow the light when you're lonely and lost. When out in the darkness you are tumbled and tossed, follow your heart wherever you may be. Follow the light on home to me. Out on the sea, the waves heave and rise. Far from the shoreline, storm clouds mount the skies. We look for a sign, a welcoming sight, a beacon that shines to guide us home this night. Follow the light when you're lonely and lost. When out in the ocean you are tumbled and tossed, follow your heart wherever you may be. Follow the light on home to me. There's a hole in our skyline, a hole in our town, a hole in our hearts, the whole world around. How do we heal? Tell me, how do we see the mercy that shines in you and me? We follow the light. When the world is so big, we feel so small, and you wonder if life has any meaning left at all. When you're losing your heart, when you're losing the fight, hold on to my hand and we will follow the light. Follow the light. When you're lonely and lost, when out in the darkness you are tumbled and tossed, follow your heart wherever you may be. Follow the light on home to me. Follow the light on home to me. Follow the light. That's John McCutcheon, Michael Mark, and me. Good song. And here's a song that back again, a lot of these songs with John Colbert. I had this melody, we went back and forth together, figuring out the right chords and the right stuff with it. My usual thing in those days was to have a song and then I'd go over to John's basement where he had this wonderful setup. And not only had the setup, but I had him there too. So he'd set it up, microphone me, and I'd do a demo recording and he'd be playing piano or bass or whatever it needed, or accordion, whatever it needed. So it was like this magical thing where, oh, Papa Tom can go over and all of a sudden I have this one-man band who could help me. And a lot of times he helped enormously with the melodies and stuff. Certainly with the arrangements. And then we also, my good friend Michael Mark, of course, as well. I've been blessed along the way to seek out and then hold on to some wonderful writers and become great friends. And that's one of the things that has been a little bit of a drag this year, has been not seeing them. Going to see John for the first time and play music with him since we played outdoors last summer at Mohonk. But so I'm looking forward to that. Of course, I've had the wonderful joy of playing with some amazing musicians all year. My daughters, Abigail and Lily. So here's a song that it was contemplating the wars we were in that never ended, including the Iraq War, which looks like, and then the invasion of Afghanistan and all this stuff, and on, the longest war, and so that's where this lyric came from. I was never one to raise my hand, take a stand, upset the plan, but the child is grown into a man. Now the times have changed. I was content to go along, sing the safe, the careful song. trusting right would vanquish wrong. Oh, but times have changed. I sing for peace now. I made a vow to reach for higher ground. I sing for peace now. Peace is how we'll turn the world around. The news gets worse, so do the lies. They hide the bodies from our eyes, thinking we won't realize we have the power to change. I sing for peace now. I've made a vow to reach for higher ground. I sing for peace now. Peace is how we'll turn the world around. Children cry, mothers weep, been having trouble going to sleep, as brave young men lie buried deep. Now the times have changed, now the new military, as brave young souls lie buried deep. Now the times have changed. I sing for peace now. I made a vow to reach for higher ground. I sing for peace now. Peace is how we'll turn the world around. Sing for peace, sing for peace, turn the world around. Help me. Sing for peace, sing for peace, turn the world around. Work for peace, work for peace, turn the world around. March for peace, march for peace, turn the world around. Vote for peace, vote for peace, turn the world around. Pray for peace, pray for peace, turn the world around. Sing for peace, sing for peace, turn the world around. And all my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon rolls through the nighttime till the daybreak comes around. All my life's a circle, I can't tell you why. Seasons spinning round again, the years keep rolling by. Thank you, my friends. I'm going to put on my earphones so I can hear what you guys are saying. My dog, Coco, is sitting on the earphones. Luckily, she's not chewing on them, though. Good girl. Hi, everybody. Anybody out there want to talk?
Hey, Tom, Scott, how you doing?
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Hey, thank you again. What a great show. It was incredible as usual.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Just really awesome. Thanks for doing these things for us.
It's a pleasure. Scott has been a mainstay many times up in Nova Scotia, and he even played bass the only time that John Wallace couldn't make a Chapin family show.
Yeah, that was
Scott
fun.
Sivikoff stepped in it, and that was the night that the special guest.
Mr. Tuberty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Martin
that was
Turbiddy,
a lot of fun.
Who was Mr. Tanner. You can
Hey,
check, and it's online if you check that night.
hey, I was wondering, I heard a snippet of a song of yours once called "Don't Turn Away." Did you ever finish it or do anything with that?
Don't turn away. It sounds familiar, but I don't know where it is.
Oh, okay. Just curious because it was what I heard sounded really good, and I was
Oh, cool. You know what? I will look. It was interesting this last year. I really thought I would get a lot of writing done. And what's happened, of course, with the daytime shows and grandchildren in the house, and it's changed the world a little bit. So we'll see.
oh yeah.
I'm hoping, but I'm sure it's sitting on one of my hard drives or in one of my notebooks. Well, we'll see if I can find it.
Okay, I was just curious because it came up on my phone the other day, and it
Oh,
sounded
really?
so good. And I said, I wonder if Tom ever finished that because it just sounded really
What,
neat.
did I play a little bit at some point? What
Yeah,
was
I
it?
could send. I'll send it to you.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. I did. At the end of the day, and I was thinking of Beth and Maureen, who always asked for that song. Hi, girl, ladies. Happy birthday.
Belated birthday.
Belated birthday. Yeah.
A
Anybody have a
distant,
question?
distant
Raise your hand.
drummer is kind of reminiscent of Pass the Music On, sort of a similar theme, isn't it? Going down from generation to generation.
Yeah. Well, the deal with that was the story is so evocative. You know that Gene Krupa being the first great star of jazz. You know, the jazz drummer, and my dad seeing him and we just being amazed, and then finding the part that we didn't put in the song was that the dad always talked about was that. The teacher, Sanford Moeller, did teach Gene Krupa how to play, but he taught him holding the sticks this way as opposed to this way. And he changed in the 10 years or whatever it was between teaching Gene Krupa and teaching my dad. He discovered in New York City these old men playing in marches and stuff. They were 70 and 80 years old, and they had been Civil War drummer boys. They'd learned to play during the Civil War.
Wow.
From on these, as my dad said, these terrible calfskin marching drums, 3-foot drums around here, and they have to play on the side. And you couldn't play like that because it just hurt you. So they started playing this way, holding a stick. And they learned how to do it so they could play all day long because they had to play from reveille to taps all day long. And if it was wartime, you're playing all the time. And these kids learned how to play this way. And these old men were still playing just great because they played with very lightly cross sticks. And my dad became the great teacher of the Moeller technique, the Sanford Moeller technique, which was not the technique that taught Gene Krupa. And so later on, when Gene Krupa took ill and then came back from the hospital, he actually called my dad, and Dad worked with him so he didn't have to play with so much muscular stuff. And he worked with lots and lots of drummers that way. You know, the drummer from Kiss, a lot of rock and roll drummers started working with my dad because they were hurting themselves, going, you know, and the dad would go, my dad was, you know, in his 70s, 80s, and, you know, he's just playing like this instead of going, you know, it's fun.
Talked about Bob Gibson getting into drugs and alcohol, and your brother Steve, and even his concerts, talked some about struggles he had with cocaine. Did Harry ever get involved in that kind of thing?
Not that I know of. You know, I mean, I was Harry and I were ships passing the night, but you know, I was an athlete, so I mercifully was hurting myself, twisting my ankles and things, but not doing that. But you know, I wasn't on the road with those guys, so you know, I'll pass on that question.
I have a question, Tom.
Sure. Hi, Jeannie.
Hi. Since so many of the songs on Turning of the Tide are about certain people, I've always wondered if the Turning of the Tide is about any certain people or that's just a made up couple.
It's the thing about a song like that, even though you're writing it ephemerally, you're not thinking, oh, this is about Bonnie or John's thinking about his wife or anybody like that. But you use the things that you know. So and if you do it right, if you try to make them truthful, and if you make it truthful, then it's about us all.
Okay.
But no, it wasn't like written for a specific person. It was really about how to make that. As I mentioned, I had a line, "The Turning of the Tide." Da 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 da, the turning of the tide, and I didn't know where it went. And John, who's brilliant, John Forster, we started working on that stuff, and it happened. So.
One of my favorite lines of all of yours is, "We never get it right, but we might not be that wrong." That's pretty cool.
It's pretty truthful, isn't it?
Yeah.
the road we walk, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Sylvia, you had a question for Tom. Would you like to ask?
That's funny.
Somebody's backing up.
What Sylvia's question?
Sure, thank you. My husband would like to ask the question.
Oh,
That's the Mama County.
Kind of guitar it was.
We couldn't see, but I was trying to decide what the 6-string guitar was that you were playing. I couldn't recognize the sound.
Well, it's a handmade by a guy named T.J. Thompson, and it sort of looks like an old-fashioned like Martin neck, and
Okay.
and maybe like a Gibson body, but he invented it himself. He's a very famous guy to a small number of people who are other luthiers, and he's spending a lot of time now. He doesn't make many guitars. He made his sort of his name by making pre-war Martins now, beautiful Martins. And this is an astonishing guitar,
Yes, it was.
It's like, and I love it. I have some other wonderful guitars. I have a couple of Grit Laskin guitars, Grit Laskin, and I also have a wonderful Martin that was Harry's. But somehow I keep coming back to this guy. It's a maple body, and I remember when he said, "I want to make you a maple body." I said, "That's great, but maple looks the sound hole is so white that it always, when you're on stage, it's like a spotlight." He said, "Oh, I'll tone it down." So he toned it down to make it look sort of like it's rosewood inside, even though it's maple, and then this is all sun. But it's really an astonishing guitar,
Oh, yeah, that sure does sound like a nice guitar.
Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you.
isn't that the one, Tom, that you call the stealth guitar?
Actually, John Wallace calls it the stealth guitar because it has no name on it. You look at and say, "What is that name?" There's no name. I'll take the tuner off, but it does have his signature way inside. It says T.J. Thompson way down in there. But yeah, so John Wallace calls it. Oh, yeah. I see you got your stealth guitar.
Hey, Mark Spires, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Hi, Tom.
Hi.
Calling you from Montreal.
Oh, good.
Um,
I went to school in Plattsburgh, so we used to visit once in a while.
you used to go to Plattsburgh often
Yeah.
when they had the army base there and things
Sure.
like that. Yeah.
I used to play basketball up there at the Army base with those guys.
Yeah. What years?
62 to 68. I was in
Oh.
a 6-year program.
Oh, fantastic.
And
I love the beach there and the whole thing, but we can't go
Sure.
because the border is shut.
I know. Listen, we have a house in Nova Scotia. My brother Steve is up there, and I can't get there. But about 3 or 4 years ago, I had a gig in right after the summer in Nova Scotia. I got a gig that Claudia found for me up in Potsdam, New York. And so we drove from Nova Scotia all the way up New Brunswick along the St. John River, and then along the Seaway, the St. Lawrence Seaway, and stopped in Quebec, and then in Montreal, and then finally went down in there. It was a beautiful trip up there. Beautiful country.
Well, as you know, everything changes every 10 years, and I'm not used to the city as it is now because I lived outside the city and I came back, and it's a whole thing here. And it's a sign of getting older when things just change. Never mind the COVID. But let me ask you something. During this COVID shutdown, do you find your artistic ability has been increasing? Are you writing new songs? How's your output going? What's going on there?
I started to talk about that. I have not been writing that much. What I have been doing is, because of these shows, rediscovering a bunch of songs that I just sort of had recorded and put away, and in the 27 albums of my career, and so that's been a nice thing. Also, my harmony singing has gotten much improved because I've been singing with my daughters, and it's kind of embarrassing trying to sing harmony with them if I'm really out of tune, which I used to be when we started.
Fantastic for you. Yeah. So have you written new songs? Any new songs?
I have some pieces, but most of them were things that I start right at the beginning, and I have not. We're also in the course of downsizing our house, so it's been a real busy time. And
don't get rid of any of your guitars.
Oh, shh! Don't let my wife hear this.
Love you, Tom.
Thanks so much, Mark.
But you did write a song for Oliver.
Oh yeah, I wrote a song for my new grandson. Yeah.
Wendy Swenson would like to talk to you. Wendy?
Hi, Wendy.
Raising your hand.
Unmute yourself, please.
I do this every day. You think I could do that a little bit faster? I just want to say thank you so much. This has made such a difference from, the 5 days a week to the 2 days a week to the extra concerts and things like that. And I just want to thank you and ask you if you're ever going to make it to San Diego again, ever, ever, ever.
I hope so. We're talking right now about February, doing some stuff in Phoenix and maybe LA, and maybe if there's some place in San Diego that's actually having it. It really has to do more with what places are booking, and
I'll go find something.
Okay, do so. Let us know. I would love to, and Claudia and I were actually just talking about it quickly today about whether we take this date and to fly to Phoenix, which we do every year, and then from that build other stuff on and go to LA to visit my grandchildren and my kids. So, and get to the West Coast a little bit, which we've done for many, many years. But I didn't do it this last year, and we'll see what happens. But we're trying to do it. I think it's getting better.
Well, if I had to, I'd go to Phoenix or to LA, but San Diego would be really nice.
Okay, great. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
If there's some places that are booking and do something, let Claudia know, and we'll try to follow that up.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
Great. And let's see, Diane Miller has something to say.
Hi, Tom.
Diane?
This is Diane Miller. I have met you before. My husband and I took our 3 young children to a concert, Bethel College, North Newton, Kansas. You were in concert with John McCutcheon,
Yeah.
Who I followed a lot at the time. And anyway, I'm a huge fan. We sang all your songs to our young children as they grew up. I'm a 3rd grade teacher and I'm still teaching. And the big push right now in reading is fluency, fluency, fluency. The state, I'm teaching in Iowa. The state says if readers are fluent, it's a very good indicator of their overall reading success. So in my third grade classroom, I use your music and I put your lyrics up. I project your lyrics up on the wall, or I can print them off and give them to the students. And we have something called the morning message. So a lot of times my morning message is doing one of your songs. And this particular group of third graders they just love you. They see another song and they see Tom Chapin and they just cheer. And you should hear them sing Gertie's Birds Sing. Oh my goodness. The lyrics and everything. It's just so, and I could go on and on.
Hear the cackle of the crackle in the morning of the dove and the mockingbird rocking from the branch
it's
above.
just so awesome. I have all your books. I bought 4 copies of This Pretty Planet that you just, but I have collected all of your, I've collected all of your picture books.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for bringing joyful learning to young children and to everyone.
Well, you know, I want to thank you, you know, because it's hard to find these things, and when you find it, you sound like a wonderful teacher, and that's the highest praise. Because when John Forster and I first started this thing, we said we want to write stuff that's really visual, you know, and that's and I try to write songs for kids. They're not dumb and not silly. They can be silly, but silly with an idea, you know. And so when I hear you, teachers who across the years, teachers have picked these up, and it's like the highest praise. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Wonderful evening.
Thanks.
Hey, Paul Springer, you've got your hand up. You've got a question?
Yeah. Hi, Tom. I want to thank you for helping us get through this pandemic. It was just wonderful watching you on your morning shows with your daughters and also with your granddaughters. They're just adorable. My oldest son and I saw you, I guess about a year and a half ago in a house concert in Oak Park, California.
Yes.
And you
yes.
and we met you there, and it was just great. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. We were just talking about. Claudia was just saying that the California stuff that they're not doing those house concerts now, obviously because of the pandemic. So, but I remember it well. It was a lovely night.
Yes.
Is that Billy?
Bill
Yeah.
Chambers, is that you?
Yeah.
Hey, Billy.
Hey,
Hi, Bill.
I just wanted to say thank you for all the recordings. And when are you coming up to Monmouth County again?
You know, I don't know, Bill, but we'll let you know as soon as things break out. You know, we're booking some. There's a few kind of summer things, but mostly it's stuff in January, February, March of 2022. Some interesting things, touring happening, but at the moment it's a little dicey. But you'll know, Bill, and I'd be happy to see you because you always come to those shows, which is nice.
Yeah, and I like your show on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been great fun doing them. It really has. Thank you. And say hi to your dad and everybody in your family, okay?
Okay.
Thanks.
Well, get this. My brother just moved to Seattle, Washington.
Wow. That's a long way away.
Yeah.
It's a nice town, though.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Billy.
And we don't have too much time, but Lindsay, do you have a quick question? Lindsay Cannell? You still there?
I got to talk to him.
You're dead?
Oh, God, you again.
I don't see her anymore. Maybe she
I'm
left.
right here.
Oh,
Hi,
you.
Lindsay.
Hello.
Seattle, Washington.
You're unmuted. Okay.
Do you see me with my mask?
I'm not seeing you, but how you doing?
Oh, right here.
Oh, good. Hi.
Oh my God. Wow. Yeah.
Are you doing well, Lindsay?
I'm okay. I'm doing okay, but yeah, my brother moved away from me.
You know what? Could I call this WhatsApp?
And I am,
Well, that's hard.
yeah, my brother moved. He's married.
Ah.
And I'm an aunt now.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm an aunt. And I'm not living in my apartment right now because of the pandemics, and my parents are grandparents now.
Nice, nice.
And I got a new phone.
Yeah, that's good. Good.
And I actually wanted to show you this. I actually made this.
I'm not seeing you right now. Let me see. Let me go
Let
up
me
to.
try to find her. Let me. There.
Up there, yeah.
Weird. Hang on. And Tom, do you want to sing one last song for us?
Well, yeah, I'll do something on the auto harp.
Okay.
You like it? I made it.
Nice. Good job, Lindsay. Thank you.
No problem.
We'll
Yeah,
see
I
you
really
guys
wanted
soon,
your
all right?
planet book and I couldn't find it.
Ah.
Yeah, so please send me the information on the planet book.
Okay, will do. Okay, everybody, please mute yourself. And Tom, one last.
I don't like to say goodbye. I don't want today to end. But we will be happy together tomorrow. Together tomorrow again. You guys all know this. Sing it with me. Together tomorrow. Together tomorrow, my friend. We will be happy together tomorrow. Together tomorrow, my friend. Now you may walk a rocky road. My road may twist and bend. We'll share all our stories when we get together, together tomorrow again. Every day must pass away, never to come again. Tonight when I'm sleeping, I'll dream of us being together tomorrow again. Last chance. Together tomorrow, together tomorrow, my friend. Tonight when I'm sleeping, I'll dream of us being together tomorrow again. We'll see some of you guys on Sunday night, and otherwise see you Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thanks, friends. Thanks so much for coming tonight. We'll see you all soon. Bye.